How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's well. Just cutting up some peppers. Put that off for a little bit. Hi. How's everyone doing? Oh, I got cut some green peppers as well. How's everyone doing? Bin. Where's the good stuff there? There's the red peppers in there. I just need to put the green ones in now. Hey. Teddy, go. With fucking seeds. I don't know what on those. unless I want to plant them, which I do not. I'm just making dinner. Just getting rid of all these fucking seeds on the floor. Cut these green peppers up. Yeah, peppers. There's ingredients. So red and green peppers. A little bit more pepper. Little red and green peppers. Probably cut a little bit more off. I won't need to do that. It is late night dinner indeed. And I just got a yellow pepper to do. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Oh, you did drop it, look. On the floor, look.
I never dropped it.
You
It was
did.
over your end.
Trying to get a bit of chili powder.
Oh, that's sleeping. I'm fucking just trying to remember. I'm thinking about everything that's happening around me.
Why is life boring? Is it like camera? Cholesterol. Putting sandwiches and stuff.
Oh, wow. That's a bit much.
But I only put a tiny bit in there.
Oh.
You just mix it in with the sauce. That's what it needs. How's life boring? It's obviously life is boring. Life is what you make it. It's just that. Why are you doing it on that? Because just cut on there. It's done. You're doing it that hard way. It's not a fucking potato.
You shouldn't be doing it that way. You should be
Yeah, but
doing
it's not a potato. You're peeling it like it's a potato.
Fuck's sake. It'd be a knife I could do it on God cricket.
I had no problem with it.
You're saying dolphins.
But yeah, you only want to add about half of that pepper because it's so sweet. Because the yellow peppers are proper sweet. Red pepper and yellow pepper is quite savoury.
Nice with tuna and sweet corn inside them. And then the album. No, it's tuna. No, in the pepper.
Yeah, you can put it back on and cook it the rest of the day.
That's what one of them fridges got it in.
That's what the scissors were for. I've moved them. I'm just using the scissors. Mix this around. Making proper colourful. Obviously it's not on the heat. I'm going to put it on the heat in a second, but I'm just mixing it around. I'm going to put it on the hobblers. But it's looking good. You've got green peppers, red peppers, yellow peppers, and then chicken, and then some barbecue seasoning, and then a little bit of reggae sauce on the top as well to give it a kick.
is that?
Teddy. You forget they're going to shrink anyway.
I know, that's
You don't need to be the
I mean, we could put a soup and we put it all in and it's a way for you know. Like a make a pot of soup. Then you fit for you like this, wash your hands and that water. You know? Wash your handies in the water.
Yeah, hang on. You'll get pepper. Where is the pepper? You've got the pepper. Where's the pepper? Where's that?
Oh, look. Oh, I know.
What's it have a look for? This is why I put them fucking beans there. You put shit on them. Hope everyone's doing well, everyone's doing good. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well. I'm just making my dinner, as you can see. The cast iron skillet, so it should get hot. Put this over the top. Everyone's good, everyone's sound. Oh, that fucking hurt. Well, yeah, I'm just making chicken fajitas. I mean, banging fajitas, mate. Like, they're looking good already, look. Yeah, it's looking good. Really colourful though. I haven't cooked in ages. I literally haven't cooked in a very long time. You almost look like a different colour on the camera. Like on the camera, they're a lot more vivid, the peppers. But it's going to be nice either way. I'll just let it settle. Hey, you help me clean up then?
When the homies get here, we're gonna go.
Thought you would have done it, I know.
Literally sit and
You said, oh, don't worry, I'll do it.
drug transactions to be made right in front of us.
It makes you wonder.
That looks incredible. It smells incredible. Some cheese. Some cheese. And wraps. That's not bad. That's a good. Check it out.
Remember the salad bowl?
Yeah, that's for you.
No, you put it in the. Oh, no, you put it on this magnet. Piece of it.
Everyone's doing well. Everyone's doing good. Hang on. Which one is it? Seems like. There's a little bit from the cook still, but basically I've cooked most of it. I'm basically gonna put it in the air fryer. Basically just put this in the air fryer like this for like maybe 10 minutes, something like that. Towards the end. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. Pepper sound.
Books, court documents, or family photos, and they soak them with synthetic chemicals ranging from cannabinoids
Maybe
to
sort that out.
fentanyl, some of which are
Yeah, sort that
lethal
out.
and lead to overdose death. So today, Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart invites me in to show me how his team of officers fight against this problem. And we even
Food's got about 5 minutes.
high-security
Put the rest of it in the
uncovers
glass thing and
drugs
then put it in the air fryer.
So join us now. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's episode.
Hi, folks. I'm sitting at the airport about to board a flight. I had some time.
Oh. Hey.
Unless.
No. No, 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 listening to me. Today I'm having wraps and it's fucking amazing.
See? Coleslaw.
No,
Could have it with that.
no. Grab it with that? No. You're stupid. Here goes. I'm just gonna eat my dinner. That's the south side. Mate, look at the chicken. The chicken is fucking amazing. Cheese on as well. With peppers. I finished cooking it now.
Let's see how this goes down.
No way, Tom.
No, you guys were coming?
That's Tom, son.
Alright. No driver.
Right. I just need a spoon.
They got everyone on the ground. The first step is security.
What we call roaches, right? We haven't opened them up yet. That's right. This was lay on the ground. This was lay on the ground.
But you think that's strips?
So usually, typically, each roach will contain multiple strips. So this is basically what it is. It's cellophane. It's rolled, right? And they roll it until it gets really hard. And what they'll do is they'll stick it like in the sock, they'll tag into it, and they'll use it as a weapon. Here, it's a magic shade cream, but it's filled with pieces.
Oh, of course.
So it's a weapon, a biological weapon. Pretty much, yeah.
Should use bunker.
What I like to think is I feel like we've been doing pretty well recovering weapons, right? So this is like the last resort.
Okay, so right now they're doing us one by one. Every single inmate is being searched, and search is an undefined experience. Things are being shoes taken off, socks taken off, like it felt right.
The roach for it.
Area, the most common smuggling areas.
Can you roach for it?
Yes.
Well, you look to put them away as well. Because you know what happened last time? Fucking getting water everywhere.
I don't want to do
What-
this
what-
one.
No, do it now. Because they're ice
Right, I
cubes.
know, but they were hard. These tubes are strong.
Is it? Oh, careful.
See, that's what I mean.
Jesus. Clumsy as fuck.
One thing to highlight, look, so this is made out of a halo, a medically necessary piece of equipment, but
Look at that clumsy fuck's sake.
stab somebody. This is the fine line that a jail has to operate.
Who's
in
gaslighting
human
me?
freedom, healthcare, danger. Another thing to note here is I was curious how the segregation might work. I do see that
There's someone there.
some
I'll be
jails
ready.
racially segregate, some do it by name, some do it by age, some do it by level of
Thank
danger
you for the
to
lovely
society.
dinner.
But how you sort people is a recipe that can either make
That
safety
you.
or danger depending on how you do it. A logistical question that every jail has to think about. So anyone that is wearing a green jumpsuit is apparently because they either recently exposed themselves or got caught masturbating. So
I think it's Saturday night. I'm doing a joke.
Fucking plastic in there. Leather. Yeah, just about to eat my dinner. Just gonna have a couple of bones beforehand. Go away. Fucking hell, man. The beast. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope smoke.
The hyper the night, and I was getting out today.
Dakota is a grown man
Right, down you get, just now down you get.
Get down!
in his 20s who gets mistaken
You'll
for
get
his
going.
child. So
What
often,
am I doing?
the police
Doing this.
officers in Charleston,
I'm
West
gonna eat.
Virginia, have a shorthand for me. And no, that's not a joke. In the police radio traffic this February, somebody rang in about a child standing alone outside the doors.
Look at him below his side. I've got that older.
Little dude.
Right.
Little dude.
Sit. There, sit.
Dispatch
Sit. Good boy.
Since he's getting, so he ain't getting any of it.
Yes.
He ain't getting any of it.
Dakota, you can clear it. A stranger saw
But yeah, no, I put two wraps over that
and
thingy,
somewhere
carefully.
in the gap
Put plate over the top to keep the heat in.
Oh,
And
right,
we'll keep the
right.
wraps warm at the same time.
Mhm.
First two wraps.
2023.
Look,
Because for 3 years now, a rotating
Right.
cast of people have Dakota pointed the camera at
for the
him.
chicken, it stops the heat escape fast, so it doesn't go as cold as fast. So I can have this bond quickly. And I can load
Oh,
you.
the roach.
Need to get the roach.
There are at least 5 of them, and despite that, he's still outside. So,
Go away!
because the version of the story you've
Yeah,
probably
thieving
seen
little
sticks in
man.
the wrong place, and honestly blames the wrong people. Dakota is small. He has an arrest record, so you can see on that
Plenty of
it
salt and
lists
pepper
him
on
as
it.
3'9".
You've got four wraps each.
I need 4, not 1.
Yeah, but you're doing quite small.
You're
doing, like, quite compact, you can get 4.
And I'm certainly not about to
Bugger off.
for some extra.
Bugger off!
But what I can tell you is what's
Go lie down!
and over and over again.
No, not by the food.
I know, you've been put in, you've left your gate.
Go lie down.
The fact that everything else in
Go and lie
Before the
down.
postal.
so forth. And since the question on every video about him is
Oh, you tell him, mister. His boss.
on camera,
Yeah, I'm the boss of this house.
he likes rap. His
Eh?
favorite was
Teddy.
He had a shrine to in the flat. He loves spaghetti. He loves his grandma, and he's got a nickname tattooed on him. And I tell you, that Gary Busey is his cousin.
Have you ever met a celebrity?
That big enough or too big?
You've got a fucking
How did you meet him?
tail on the centre.
Yeah, no.
Dude, why are you even using it? It's not even viable.
No idea.
Because it will, when you're going to
Why?
roll it, it will just roll in half because of that line down the middle.
Probably this, ain't it?
2023.
Let's see, one bit.
That'll work for roach though. It's perfect thickness.
I was thinking that
Was
myself.
a kid on his own.
What you doing out here by yourself?
Yeah, it's
You said I
perfect.
got what? A cigarette? Where your parents? I ain't getting you no cigarette.
If you guys could leave a comment down below saying hello, I'll reply to it for some
Someone expect me to never have done something once and expect me to know exactly what to do.
was an adult. He didn't put the phone away. He actually got closer. And honestly, what came next was a run of viral clips in a house with rotten food and stains on the floor. And to be honest, a lot of them were genuinely grim to see.
Lovely.
No, no. Flush in on whoever participated on it. Hold on. Come on, Joey. Okay, empty the pepper down the water.
Skits where a grown man is handled like a prop, told to act like a baby, passed around, and this is where Dakota picked up the red bandanas and the gang imagery you'll see in his videos for years afterwards. And throughout this, the whole time, he was just simply getting worse. And the Crazy X era ended with the way nearly every chapter of
They
the
dug up
story
it. Yeah,
ends
it's
with
good
an
content,
accusation
it's
and a camera. Crazy K filmed himself trying to close it out, saying he'd stolen from him. Watch Dakota's
Rachel,
face and regret. He
understand.
says, "Thank you for everything you do for me." To the very man who victim him, to the man that really just simply used him for views. Then it got even worse. Dakota ended up in an abandoned house with a group of other homeless people, and by his own count, they stole from him, took his bank card, and put him to work stripping copper wire out of the walls to sell, while there was no heat and the winter was coming. Then he was hospitalized with a gash down the side of his head and a bleed on the brain.
It looks a lot better than what it is, though. For people that don't know what happened, you want to explain it somewhere else.
Yeah, smoke it and then have it, and yeah, it won't be hot,
How did you get it brain?
but it's gonna taste so much nicer after you have this. Because their food always tastes so much better.
Also,
Says
that's
he can't verify that, but that was his own words.
Well, you've got pretty much quite a lot in there, but yeah, I mean, we're not going to cold sore already. I get what you're saying, put a little bit of dog cold sore in the wraps and wrap it up.
For himself and for his little dog, this is generally where the story, as a lot of you know it, actually begins with a rescue. It's also the first thing the popular version gets wrong. In October of 2024, a creator called Cosplay pulled over.
that's just what I
Cosplay is
was
already big, about 1 million followers from motorcycle stunts. Built long
It's good
before
even
he
when
met
it's
Dakota.
sometimes.
And in the video, he
Also,
posted
of
about
course,
that.
ladies.
The very
It's
first
horrible.
thing he says isn't I found
Gross.
it's trouble. It's that he'd seen Dakota on TikTok before, and that the videos always have millions of views. So he knew exactly who he was looking at. Dakota was already famous to him. He'd been famous to him for over a year, and one of the very strangest bits of footage I've actually seen from him was at the time wearing a super realistic old man mask or full white beard, sunglasses, and an orange hoodie with flames. And one of the videos that he was filming was a prank, so he had to stop mid-conversation and explain to Dakota that he couldn't
Read to
actually
yourself,
be
Ozzy.
a man. Then he can't let Dakota on a motorcycle because there's no helmet. So he tells him to meet him at the new Dollar Tree in 10 minutes, drives home, and comes back in a slingshot, which is a three-wheeled open-top vehicle that comes as go-karts for adults. He goes into the Dollar Tree to get cash back because
Why?
he doesn't carry cash,
Why?
and Dakota's bike
So
won't fit.
small,
So
but
he reaches across his
You
lap
have to do that.
with the front wheel
If you
sticking
ride by the
up
house.
over his shoulder, and he
Think.
sits
after
there
one of the small next day.
gives him a pair of sunglasses for the ride. The same pair he's wearing, so they both match. And they go to Taco Bell, where, shockingly, as Dakota goes to order, the staff behind the counter looks up and says, "What are you doing, Dakota?" She actually knew him by name, which is kind of hilarious. I suppose that's just how famous he was in the area, and Dakota was already a local face, and a viral one. What Corporal did over the next 6 months is the part everybody follows.
Whoa!
So,
Fucking
let's just
hell.
deal with the record.
Jesus.
Dakota had been carrying a fake ID with SpongeBob on it for 3 years. Corporal sent him in a DMV for 3 hours and got him a real estate ID, which was a single document that unlocks housing benefits and local
So as long as you can still manipulate the wraps, they're fine.
He even bought him multiple phones because
Right.
Dakota kept losing them. And
The fold
his
them,
dog
they don't burn, they don't bend or crack, so they're not stale, so they're fresh.
He booked him a doctor to look at his tremors and a dentist. He put him
Hope
in a
everyone's
hotel
doing well.
and lost the deposit when Dakota snaked in the room. He took Felicity to apply for public housing and got her near the top of the list. And in April 2025, he got Dakota an actual flat. And if you watch the tour video, it's Hot Wheels lined up along every surface, goodies on hangers instead of the floor, and a shoe rack for a man who had been sleeping in a house with no heat. That was an enormous change for Dakota.
Lambo, you just plug it in and drive right out. When they order it, kitchen table was good. But those up there, he has Hot Wheels all around his room.
He also filmed all of it and got a lot of views from it. And you know what? This is where I genuinely have to be fair, because the accusation that Corporal got rich off a disabled man is the accusation that eventually turned Dakota against him. And the only person, honestly, in this entire saga who has actually seen the figures says the opposite. A man who deliberately stayed off the camera the whole
He's
time
laughing.
published screenshots of Dakota's own private messages in which Corporal
He's
says
it up.
his breakdown.
That's warm. Boiling hot. Feel the other side. Yeah, that's warm. Where's the spoon?
Spoon.
I did have a spoon somewhere. Here it is. Lost. To your right. That's all you need. You can spread it, elongate it, and then you can wrap it up like that, and then like that, and like that. So you wrap the bottom first, so you can, then nothing falls out, and then that's how that's how. Good.
There's a veg.
Veg is the peppers.
I see.
Veg is here. Cucumbers. So like I did, I put my cucumbers underneath my chicken so I can fit it all in. Just so I can drop it. Like that cheese and then like that. No, you got to fold it. Don't go too much. No, you don't fold it like up, like no, you fold it, no, fold it from the bottom. You fold it from the bottom. Careful with that, because that comes up well fast. You don't want to ruin it. No? Whoa, Jesus. No wonder you got fucking heart problems. No matter fucking salt you eat. Yeah.
Heart problems at all.
You said your heart fucking goes faster.
This one I've got a
The amount of salt you have each day, you're only meant to have 6 grams, you have way more than 6 grams. But yeah, look, wrap it up and you can do that. What I did is I put my cucumber underneath my chicken at the front so it will fit. And then I can put it on the plate. You can put it on the plate and wrap it up properly. Look. Look, I'm not splitting a single finger. Fold it from your side first. Put it here, and I'll do it for you. Hold up. really good. It's cooked all the way through. I would have gone for the spicier one there, or slightly spicier, because it's got more flavour to it. It's more barbecue-y. Not too much in it. The whole wrap will be soggy.
Enjoy that.
It's nice with the cheese as well. Where's the sound?
Doing it properly. These are people who got given a flat and then gave it away. What did you expect? And obviously, I mean, nobody's actually sat them down, not even once, and taught them how to act, or how to even hold a job. But it's the only time for years, at least somebody tried to feed the money to them directly. So at least there's that. Now,
Yeah,
the
chicken's
next one
cooked
to enter
perfectly.
their lives was Chad Doll.
Just
Who
enough
found
time
out
in there.
6,000
Just, I don't doubt we had just enough gas to cook it. It would have taken longer in the air fryer. You would have had to mix it all in. Like I would have been able to mix it all in as I was going wrong. Yeah, I would have had to do it all raw and then put it in the air fryer. So it would have been nowhere near as good.
And this is in the pan.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
a little bit.
at the single most profitable moments of her life, doing exactly that.
What do you think?
Took them for pedicures.
What rate out of 10 would you buy at a restaurant
That kind of stuff.
if it was on the menu? Yeah, and they said barbecue wraps, barbecue chicken wrap with cheese, barbecue chicken wrap with cheese and peppers, cheese, pepper and cheese. Messy pup. Oh, I can know. How are you dropping it everywhere? Hold it properly. It shouldn't be leaking for one.
And then came the promise that turned into the meme of
You dropping it.
house.
So I'm just going over the best. That's it all.
Seems like a pretty good idea. And here's the honest version of that house, because I've seen and reported both as a lie and as a real property. And well, to be honest, it's neither. It seemed to have been an actual building in an actual state of repair at some point. She was in the camera saying that they still need to get a drywall up, so it obviously wasn't invented. It was just never funded. And the maths has never worked. Because despite getting millions of views on YouTube...
Babe, what are you doing?
I mean, you might be...
Oh, I thought you had the wrap. I thought you were tearing the wrap apart. I said, what are you doing? But no, it was the.
But honestly, a 5-bedroom house? Yeah, no wonder the maths didn't add up. Take the 2 adults and feed them, transport them, and replace everything that gets broken or lost, and supervise them full time. Well, it's just simply not practical, is it?
I don't actually see the search bar. Yesterday was a time.
This is my 4th attempt at doing this intro. Every time I start talking about this, I can't help but tear up, and if I'm being honest, this is my 4th attempt at doing this intro.
How hectic his room is.
Every time I start
Like the
talking
background.
about this, I can't
How
help
hectic the
but
background is.
tear up.
Just so much
To be
going on.
honest with you.
I love the fridge though, that it's got fully stocked.
Just
But
bawling my
it's like a
eyes
shop.
out. I don't really like
and the claw
you guys
machine
to see me like that.
that he can play whenever he wants. That's well cool, isn't it? That he's got an actual claw machine in his bedroom. That's well cool, like a full-size one. You can see how big it is.
My trunk phone. But outside of that, I just I'd rather you not look at me ugly cry. And this is a topic
Gotta try it with
that's
that.
really hard to
When you have the
get
next
through
one.
without the
When you have the
waterworks
next one,
coming
dip it in that. It's
There it
nice.
is. I had to cut again. It keeps happening. Maybe it's better if I show you instead of trying and talk through it, so that way you can understand why it's such an emotionally charged subject today that we're dealing with. And I want to preface this isn't for the faint of heart. This is one of those things where if you don't want your day ruined with misery and sadness, well, maybe this just isn't the one you should be watching right now. I can't play the audio because it's copyrighted popular music, but maybe just the silence is enough to show you just how impactful something like this is and how awful it is to be attacking a young entrepreneur like this. And you think it's bad enough that it happened once, this rambunctious lefty Democrat coming out of nowhere to sock her right in the jaw, blowing up her eyeball on the right side, forcing her to ice it down. But even that wasn't enough to quell her spirit, and she continues to make these patriotic necklaces for nothing but the love of the game. And it keeps happening to her. This was a deadly clobbering. I think she had brass knuckles on there. Just actually mollywopped her. Look at the damage done.
It's just like, I need 3 wraps left, and I ain't enough cucumber to go for 3 wraps.
Beautiful Alibaba necklaces.
It's not
You
there to
can
be nibbled on
surely
the side.
have two
Right,
separate
but-
instances
That's not the point, it's not there to be
of
nibbled on the side, it's there
hilarity.
to be added to your
These
wrap.
Democrats would have
Then if
enough
there's some left
of
afterwards, my mum always
insulting
used to be like, whatever's
this
left,
woman,
you can
punch her
nibble.
lights out. But no, they're
Like, sure.
We were just,
My mum would leave
even
like
if the
3
pumpkin
or
patch
4
the smackdown
cucumbers, a bit of
continues,
cheese
there's
to
nothing
it. She gave a bit of
sacred. There's
everything.
nowhere
You know what I mean?
sacred. Wait a minute though.
So I was
She
never
put the episode
unhappy.
the wrong night? What in tarnation? We saw her get
Spoiled.
cowabunga
So put the chicken-
walloped on the
spoiled
left side of her
chicken
face.
here.
You can even see it bruised and bloody.
And you
Looked
stop
like she got
right
hit by
here.
a fucking freight train.
And then you want
When
to put
she's
cucumber,
icing
so
the
cucumber,
rice.
cucumber,
Why?
cheese, cheese,
Something
right?
fishy
And
here.
layer it,
Look, who's
layer
the-
it,
when we see
and
her in
then
the
and then
forge here,
baby
we're
bell,
in
baby
the
bell,
lab.
baby bell, and
The
chicken and
black
chicken.
eye is on the right eye,
No, but you have
and
to
the
try
left
it
side
with
is
it.
just
We'll just try it.
completely
Like I said,
fine.
little
Okay, drop
little
the
sneeze
sarcasm.
bit of that.
This is a
Nothing
popular
to-
marketing trend now on TikTok and Facebook.
That's the
So this is one of
that's the
the
thing,
larger
she's-
accounts that started it. That first
That one I
video
picked up.
kind of
Yeah,
blew
the
up,
orange.
that getting
Stop.
millions of views, and
Yeah,
no
that's the
doubt
smoky
thousands of
Bavarian.
sales
That's
from
the
people that thought it was
Emmental
legitimate.
cheese.
It's clearly not. This is AI. And it doesn't take
And then
a
this is
super
Baby Bell.
genius or someone with the
Yeah,
most
this is
astute,
this is Emmental.
you know, fucking
It's
sharp
Bavarian smoked cheese. So
non-activated to
there's
sniff
four
that
different
out. This is
cheeses.
very clearly
You've got 4
AI.
different cheeses.
And it's leaning
Looking
into
at this
the
one
whole
as
idea
well.
of like
You've got me
sad
left. 1, 2, 3,
marketing
4.
that I talked about like a year
two.
ago where people make up
There's only
these
10
stories
there.
about like,
I normally have had
my
3 per wrap.
80-year-old grandmother's been working
So that's
on this
6.
Well, I had
Pokemon
2 and mine and I
diorama
there, so
product for so long that no one's buying
Made
it,
up
and it's
the
gonna
extra
die
tomorrow.
sad and alone and broke, and no one wants to
Right,
help.
right.
Trying to like tug on your heartstrings to get people to buy it. That's kind of morphed into this now, where they're able to AI generate these fake videos of like attacks that have happened by Democrats because they're trying to stop patriotic necklaces from being sold. Just attacked by a crazed lefty psychopath out of nowhere. Won't you please buy my extremely expensive Alibaba necklace? Come on, don't you want to show support? I was violently assaulted, violently attacked. You saw it. No, it's not AI, it's real. It's very clearly working because a lot of other accounts just like this have started spawning in, doing the exact same shtick. There's this poor craftsman here who just catches a mean elbow there. This is the fusion of Jeffrey Epstein and Jorah Mormont from Game of Thrones. All he wanted to do was sell his patriotic necklaces and got blasted. Why does it keep happening? there's a reason why they keep making these, and so many other like really shitty drop-shipped products keep doing this. It's because it works. People are buying into it. They, for some reason, believe it. Now, in a lot of cases on TikTok,
That's
in
what I mean.
particular,
It's
like
like, you see
this,
it, a lot of people, like
page,
80% of people,
there are
70% of
people
people,
calling
well, you see it on
out.
first
There's a
sight, they
couple of
believe it.
people sprinkled in there
And then
asking
30%
where
of
they
people
can
question
purchase
it.
But for the
Or
most
like
part, on
25% of
TikTok
people won't believe
specifically,
it's real.
most of them are
75%
savvy
or
enough to
like
recognize
60% believe it's
blatant
real.
AI
And
usage
10% will
and how
question
phony
it
baloney it
straight
is.
away.
But on the other avenues where it's being posted, like on Facebook, not so much. It's a very slimy tactic to present you with this false narrative, this complete barnacles of something that didn't happen. It's not real. It's make-believe. An AI video to try and convince you that this individual, in a small business is making these necklaces, backbreaking labor, and they're forged. They're forged in their garage, whipping these puppies up, and just getting punished in public by these awful worms that are assaulting them just for their patriotic necklaces. Won't you buy one? I think this shit super sucks. Again, it's not the newest marketing strategy. I covered the ones with like the fake old people a year or so ago, or even like real old people who are just lying, or old people that are being utilized as props for their like grandchildren that are selling garbage. It is a technique that has data to support that it works, and it super sucks. The products are obviously not good by any means. You can't rely on the merits of what they're selling.
Well, you can surely use common sense when you can work it out like that. You need to go slower. If you go faster, you waste it.
They're trying to move and flip, so they're trying these kind of marketing strategies. It's pretty pathetic stuff. Good marketing looks like this. Go to usecheeky.com, best soap in the universe, and we have deodorant available now. And the quality of the product speaks for itself. In the cases of these people, who I imagine are on the younger side of things, there's no low they won't sink to try and like deceive you into making this purchase just out of like trying to support the feel-good story. This guy in particular is trying to laser focus and target specifically manga troglodytes here, because in all of his Democrat attacks AI videos, they scream, "I hate Trump." So he's trying to like energize them to support him because he supports Trump, is the narrative. I also love how he's not afraid to branch out from the knuckle sandwich content. So this is his ex-wife coming to insult him for making these awful necklaces. And he's like, be honest, are they really that ugly? Hoping that you'd be like, no, they're not. Here, I'll get one. But so far, the bread and butter for the AI marketing ghouls is the attacked for selling the product type shit like this. There are so many of these popping up like weeds. It's just a plague. And there's no point in showing you more. It's the same thing every single time, just with like a different protagonist. It sucks. And I just wanted to yap about it a little bit. And I imagine as more and more people start to become aware of like how easily and how quickly you can fart these out for basically no money, so many other people will be doing shit like this. And not just people, companies too are going to start doing this as well. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Anyway, that's really about it.
Right, so Stephen Bear is now back behind bars. He's landing himself in prison for a second stint now. And the decline that this fella has suffered has been pretty remarkable. There's a lot of people that remember him winning some years ago, but I can actually go one better. I remember watching this guy about 15 years ago on a Channel 4 show called Shipwrecked. One of his castmates during that TV show was Tristan Tate, also now in prison, potentially facing a way longer time behind bars than Stephen Bear himself. We can leave the Tates for another day, because today I want to speak about how a man who seemed to have the girl at his feet at one point managed to ruin it all. From reality TV star to sex offender. Here, now from Stephen Bear.
You got any form of apology?
But people, before we get into that, welcome back to Joey's Corner. I'm buzzing to say that we've got about 31 1,000 of you guys on board now, and I want another 69. 69,000 of you. I think makes about 100,000 subscribers. I want to get there ASAP. Is it too much to say we can do it before the end of the year? I think if I keep banging out these videos, then potentially we could. Stranger things have happened. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, hype the video, and let me know in the comment section if you want to see more like this. Let's get into it. Right, so Stephen Bear was born in January 1990. He was the youngest of children, and he grew up in Walthamstow. He wasn't described as academic or anything like that at school. In fact, it was said that he was quite disruptive, and he didn't really get on well at school. He left without any real qualifications, but he did leave rather than being kicked out of school. He finished it, and then he went straight into the building industry, eventually qualifying and working as a roofer. And even though he was nowhere near the reality TV world at this time, it's been said that old colleagues noticed that he was always a bit of an attention seeker at work. And it was around this time in 2010, when Bear's about 20 years old, he starts hitting the gym, packing on a bit of muscle. And it's in the same year that he first ever makes it onto the TV. But it was very much a blink and you'll miss it moment. He was basically an extra in the background of a scene of The Only Way is Essex. I've read that it was a scene where Amy Charles and Kirk Norcross were speed dating, and Stephen Bear had signed up to become an extra. No doubt at that point the scene was already there for Bear himself to get into reality TV, because if he had been successful in that scene, that he may well have ended up on camera dating one of the Towie or something like that, but it didn't happen. He was uncredited. He was never seen properly on screen, although eagle-eyed viewers ended up pointing it out at a later date once he had become famous, and he didn't even have a speaking partner. But it's a little hint for me that at that time he was already trying to escape the life that he had and the job that he was in, and trying to land himself on reality TV. And the next year, Bear gets his wish. He lands himself a role as one of the main cast members on E4's Shipwrecked. And Bear was definitely one of the characters that got the most screen time. And he actually clashed with Tristan Tate on this series, because Tristan Tate was said to be an authoritative figure there. He was someone
And I see that's folded at the bottom as well.
and Bear very
That's how you do it.
against the rules. And it culminated in an
Like
episode
you can
where
see in the shop.
Tristan for some reason was
Looks better than you got in the get in the shop.
and he found a lighter inside Bear's bag, something that obviously on a castaway island where you're being tasked with building fires and stuff like that,
I love
you
that.
clearly shouldn't.
So no, none of it's going to come out as a bite.
Bear got himself eliminated, but not before doing something that we would end up going on to know that Bear pretty much did on every single show that he went on, and that was starting a reality TV romance or a show.
Stops us going salty.
He ends up getting with past Rachel and Hannah. They declare their love for each other, but that love didn't last.
When you bite into it, you
time.
get like
The showman's
on
result
top.
pretty much
What
as
chicken
soon
top?
as the show finished. And Bear himself probably would have been pretty gutted after coming back from Shipwrecked, because it didn't result in the reality TV career that he wanted. He didn't come out to more reality TV roles, brand deals, anything like that. The story goes that he pretty much goes back to work as a roofer.
Look at their wrap out.
And he does that for about 4 years until 2015, when the public first really get introduced to Stephen Bear,
How much?
when he starts.
Jesus. Babe, come on, babe, stop.
And I've got to be honest, at this
Yeah, look how much pepper you've got, man.
Stephen Bear, I enjoyed watching.
You fucking feed a family of 6 without that, man.
Feels that reality TV stars need to show massive moral compass on their shows, and at the same time saying that they weren't.
I've only got 20 bit more because you didn't have to put that there to fit
He
more
was
in.
going behind other girls' backs, and he was trying to get
Put it
girls
on.
to get out their boyfriends,
Slide it
but
to the
it's
front.
entertaining at this point.
Because
And he
you're
actually
gonna
got with
slide
a
all
very
that to the front.
well-known reality TV star
Top
from Jersey Shore, Vicky Patterson.
So it'll all fit on there,
She
guaranteed.
got her back when he
So
came
you've got
out
it on
with her,
top.
the pair started dating.
And then you can fold it from the
So
bottom.
although they did end up splitting up,
You've got the size
at
to
this
fold.
point, Stephen Bear probably realises he's never going to have to go back on the tools again. He's not going to need to go back to work. Bookings will be coming for him.
Have the coastal dip it in afterwards.
He had sold himself the way
You
he
do like that.
probably
You
intended
put it on, no, put it on the spoon and
original
spoon it on top. That's the best way.
He actually
You don't want to put it in there. You've already got too much of it.
This time he's a well-known castmate, and everyone knows what to expect
Got me to close it for
from
you.
him. Camera time, and it's here that he actually strikes up a relationship with Gary Beadle from Geordie Shore's former ex, Lily Lexi Gray. I don't really know what she's doing with Stephen Bear, to be honest with you, because I remember from watching the TV show, Bear seemed like the type of bloke that a girl like Lily would
Let
want
off the
in
gas
mind.
again, I
She
think.
had good reason to, because he was constantly
Your
trying to get
daddy?
with her. Eventually he does, but then he's cheating with some Australian girl. It was all a bit of a mess. I think by the end of things, they eventually get together and become a couple. I'm not sure whether that was on camera or off camera. What I am sure is once they came out on the Ex on the Beach filming, they did stay a couple. They stayed a couple for a significant amount of
The
time.
train's hold out
Said
for the rubble.
Stephen Bear moved in with a family during this time. And during this time, he gets offered the chance to go on Celebrity Big Brother. Apparently, he quashes some of Billy's fears by telling her that he's going to use the money to buy her an engagement. He entered the Celebrity Big Brother house being one of the lowest paid cast members from that series, reportedly being paid about 12 grand, which was about 138,000 less than some of the other housemates. Regardless, let's make no bones about it, Bear was easily the most entertaining housemate on that series. He was constantly getting in trouble, starting rows, overstepping lines with other housemates, and then there was probably one of the most iconic moments in Celebrity Big Brother history when Bear decides to throw himself a little hissy fit in the diary.
Open the f***ing door now.
As soon as possible. Bear.
Open the f***ing door. That's what I wanted. I come back. It's not around here. It's fine. Sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that is the definition of shitting yourself, isn't it? One big bit of muscle walks in, a Bear's arsehole comes out of his pants live on TV. I mean, it's not like he was going to come in there and start smashing you up in the Big Brother diary. Security is supposed to be big anyway. Live on TV, he eventually betrays his girlfriend Lily. He starts snogging another housemate called Chloe Khan, and eventually Big Brother was part of a task with Lily to enter the house. And this was actually genuinely uncomfortable to watch because anyone that watched the Ex on the Beach series knew that Lily was a little bit delicate. She, as I say, was the type of girl that you wouldn't expect from someone like Stephen Bear. And he went on TV and betrayed her family for taking him in front of the whole nation. But eventually, Bear ends up in the final.
Appreciate it.
He is going toe-to-toe back with from his enders, who by the way fucking hates Bear. So he really needs to see Bear win by about 1% of the vote. Public decided to go with evil over good, or at least that was the perception then, and they voted Bear the winner. And I agree, if Bear should have won that show because Fat Boy was boring and Bear was very, very entertaining. A wrong un, but an entertaining.
I am indeed.
And it's important that I note here that the degrees of what Bear did over the years definitely started to rise and it started to get a lot more serious. But at this point, I can forgive someone for going on TV and cheating on the bird and stuff like that. It does happen and it is something that in the days of sort of trash TV and reality TV was pretty acceptable. I mean, 10 years ago, I was 21. I wasn't watching this stuff with much more confidence, dad, anything like that. It was just reality TV at that. And although many people always felt that Stephen Bear did lie about the money that he was falling in line, there's no denying that this is when he would hit a real loads of nightclub PAs off the back of it, plenty more reality TV shows, including one with Charlotte Crosby, who he ended up dating for a little bit. He released a book on how to make it in reality TV, and then finally he transitioned to American reality TV, starring in 3 seasons, all within a short amount of time, of a show called The Challenge. I never watched The Challenge, but I've looked into how the American audience received Bear, and it was pretty much the same in the UK. They were split. Plenty of people felt he was annoying and crude, but many felt that he added entertainment and less than the other castmates were.
But yeah, I work out every day.
And it was here that he gets together with another castmate called Georgia Harrison. Georgia Harrison had been on Love Island. I remember watching that series, but I haven't watched all that much of Georgia Harrison. By this point, I was definitely of an age where I stopped watching these sort of reality TV shows. From what I remember, Georgia seemed like a nice, genuine, down-to-earth girl. And herself and Bear had an on-and-off relationship. Apparently, during one of the times that they were sent off, they bumped into each other at a function. One thing led to another, and the pair who had previously been a night went back to Stephen Bear's house. Now, at this point, they became intimate, and this was actually in Stephen Bear's back garden. And unbeknown to Georgia
What you
Harrison,
want to know?
Bear
just got to look after your mental health. It's a fragile thing, man.
In the back garden, and that picked up a lot of the influence.
Don't go out.
And it's key to know.
See.
Harrison didn't know about this camera.
Don't go out, get fresh air. Walk the dog if you've got one.
And that's why she was absolutely shocked when it's alleged that Bear showed her. She immediately told me immediately.
It's a company from New York, based out of Diamond District in New York.
Their romance. In about a month or so, he said that Stephen Bear sends this video to a friend of his on WhatsApp. And I've really got to ask myself,
Joe Rodeo is a company from America. They rebranded in the 1980s, so they've been around for a very long time. Been around for over 50 years, I think. Yeah, it does the job. It's got a few dirty stones in it that I need to clean. But you can see it's got mother of pearl. Stones are quite big. They're all cut properly, all set properly. A few dirty stones I need to clean. But yeah, it does the job. Like 16mm, 24mm bound across. Appreciate it.
George's heartbroken. She's shocked. She's disgusted. And she's pleading with him to take the video down. It doesn't. He betrays me. But this was an intimate moment. A moment in which George really sent to be filmed. He does the slides of things. He uploads that to the video, showing no compassion and no respect for that. She warns him to take it down or I'll go to the police. And he actually lies, telling her he has taken it down, but he hasn't. Even then,
Worth 4,200, but I didn't pay that. I paid a fraction of that. I paid about 1,000.
The arrest happened to Heathrow Airport when he returning from holiday in Dubai, and he's charged voyeurism.
I've tested it. It's got moissanite and diamonds in.
Photographs and films with intent to cause distress. When the court case went, Stephen is still not taking it serious. He's rocking up in.
But yeah, I bought it second hand and it had like a cracked glass on it, so I got the glass replaced. So I got it for a fraction of the price it would normally cost.
And everything tells me that Stephen Bear was adamant that he was going to get found guilty. He definitely wasn't going to get prison time, and that's exactly what happened. They sentenced him to 21 months in prison, and the was in motion to force him to pay £500,000.
I didn't say 40,000. I said 4,000. Teddy, stop! You're not getting any. Stop begging. Stop begging. Stop begging. Yeah, you're funny.
Of that sort of nature, and especially if you're a high profile person, a person who's been alive well and stuff like that, clearly you're going to get targeted. He was said to the prison where he was packaging tea bags and coffee for other inmates, and his weekly salary on that was said to be around £5,000 per year. So a far cry from what he once claimed he was earning, and definitely what he
Work at home.
which was definitely less than he had. Once he gets out of prison,
out. You're fucking pestering him. Out. Out. Maybe you're right.
Serve time, and at this point, you're thinking, right, well, maybe Stephen Bear now into his 30s, he's going to grow up, he's going to move on from that world, he's going to try to rebuild his life. Not really. He sold his house, he owned it, but he wouldn't make much money. He sold it well for like $5 million given, and this was the money he made from it. that's a violation of the code. He said that he had discrimination with them, certain deadlines.
Tricep selves. See my back is built different.
Stephen Bear, who's now in his 30s, meets a girl in Miami. She is just 18 years old.
No.
Very, very strange, in my opinion. Was that 16, 17-year age gap? My opinion could be wrong, so each to their own. What we do know is that the pair actually married within just a couple of months, and not too long after that, Miami announces that she's expecting a child. Stephen Bear. The pair moved back to England. And then, in another bizarre twist, Stephen Bear, who as far as I know doesn't have any combat experience, announces that he's going to try his hand at influencer boxing. He's posting videos of himself running, shadow boxing, and he even gets booked to headline on an influencer show where he's said to be fighting another OnlyFans guy, star of the adult industry. I've got no idea who he was, but the problem is the venue himself, the promoter, venue get wind of this and they say we ain't having him in our venue, he's a sex offender, we don't want him fighting inside our premises, and that's pretty much what happened. But not for lack of trying, because Stephen Bear actually rocks up on the night, he sneaks himself into the venue, gets in his shorts, he's warming up, doing pack stuff like that, and then security come and tell him, you ain't fighting. And all the while, throughout a marriage, pregnancy, a move abroad, and a failed influencer boxing career, Stephen Bear
Crazy.
still doing the one thing he was told specifically not to do, and that's
Beside
talking
me.
about the case, posting about Georgia Harrison. I've actually watched a podcast or seen a clip of it online where Stephen Bear himself acknowledges the fact that he's not allowed to talk about the case. As months went on, things start to unravel, and he does consistently start to post about it. He's petitioned for a retrial despite the fact that he's already been proven guilty, served time, and I don't know anyone in their right mind knows about the case or could look at the case and say, yeah, no, he deserves a retrial. Guilty. This is clear as day. Posted it online. What time that he made online, both Georgia and her mother diverted the course of justice. He actually spoke about her finances and claimed that this was something that could prove his innocence. I don't know whether he
Got more than
into a claim that maybe she even benefited in payments from
You can
videos
put it in the middle
online, but if he was
make it like a sandwich.
nothing to prove this. He was having his account shut down by the social media apps, but then he bypassed them. He was making new ones under different emails and stuff like that. And the small pocket of supporters that he actually had were obviously said to be trolling Georgia Harrison, replying, making things hard for her, and addressing Stephen Bear directly from the door. The judge said, what you did in that 3 to 4 month period was simply victim blame. There was more parole violations because he was said to need to have his bank accounts monitored because of payments that he received in the past and any future ones that he would get, which he wouldn't be entitled to, but he had gone against that. It's obviously they also heard from Georgia herself, who stressed the impact that this had on her life, leaving her traumatized and stressed, which I completely understand. Because at the end of the first trial, when Bear gets sent to prison, you can put yourself in Georgia Harrison's shoes. Yeah, the videos are online. There's always going to be a way for people to access them. But that chapter, which would have been really hard for her, is closed, isn't it? Or at least you understand that. Brought up a lot of emotion and stress for her, which was obviously not needed when you're pregnant. She had moved on, she was pregnant with her first child at this time. Believe me, when you're carrying a baby, you don't want to
No, I already made food.
and build trust in that way and then make a profit of it. It was someone later to me, like, well, I Stephen Bear made it. And that's what you've got to think about here, right? People in the limelight, people that have been on TV, we often have that ability to detach ourselves. I actually said about it earlier on in this video. Now, if it was my sister or next on the beach or something like that, and Stephen Bear was treated badly, I wouldn't just attack him. I would feel like it wasn't funny and you're even angry at it. But that's just human nature. You do detach yourself. That's what you've got to think of. Imagine it was your sister or something like that. I think it could ruin people's lives, and that's exactly what Georgia Harrison claimed that it did to her at times. And therefore, I personally believe the second prison sentence that Stephen Bear has been given and now sent down for, which is 16 months, was very much fair, to be honest. And even if he serves half of that time, one thing that we know for sure is he will miss the birth of his baby. And I've always felt since first watching him on reality TV, he was a little bit tapped. Something wasn't quite right. And I think the same reason is
A little bit tapped.
I don't know how he lack empathy in that sort of way that he did. At the same time, saying that I did find it entertaining. I'm not going to rewrite history, but there was a lot of that empathy. Like, for example, when Lily went to his brother house and he doesn't react. I do know that was part of the task and the challenge, but I would just break the fucking challenge at that point. There had been breaking loads of rules in there. So in my opinion, he actually didn't break the challenge because he was too cowardly in that moment to look her in the eye and to speak and apologise for what he had done. But I would be a liar if I said that that lack of empathy made me think that he was going to one day end up in prison for multiple stints. I think it's mad what's happened to Stephen. And I'm no proof of that.
See, you've got a two-back post in the background as well.
Been nicked a couple of times, but I've
So
never
I've
done something like this and shown lack of empathy.
One in the middle behind him.
Stephen Bear has
Left shoulder.
shown the lack of remorse that he has done. We often
One praying.
do silly shit, nothing like Stephen Bear has done.
That's two-back.
We're kids, but he's grown up now. He's an adult. He's into his 30s, well into his 30s. He's approaching 40, and he's got a child on the way. So,
Hey.
to seriously do the things that he's done,
What?
he's baffled. Not that I'm that bothered about him, but I hope for his family's sake and those around him, for the sake of Georgia Harrison, his victim, he just learns to pack it in.
Obviously not.
And he comes out. There's a huge difference between being a reality TV villain and being an actual villain. So, let's be honest, it is facts of a sex offender. That is a race. But what do you guys think? I know that there are very, very small pockets of support for Stephen Bear, people that think that the prison sentences were too harsh. Definitely not one of them, but people have voiced their opinion online, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And let me know if you want to see more videos like this one, sort of Falls from Grace, reality TV stars. To be fair, I did used to watch a fair bit of reality TV, but I pretty much stopped when I was around 25% of that, 31 years old now, but there are characters that we could revisit. Speaking of reality TV, one of my favourite reality TV shows, in fact, my favourite reality TV show isn't a UK show. It's a show called 60 Days In the United States, where people go undercover in prison, and I've been watching a lot of that recently. I'm really keen to do a video on 60 Days In, things that people don't know about the show, looking at some of the participants who ended up becoming fully fledged prisoners. There's so many interesting stories with that. So if you want to see the 60 Days In video, let me know in the comment section below. If you made it to the end of another video, please do me a massive favour. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I think around 70% of you still aren't. Don't worry, I won't hold it against you. I'll find out where you live. Don't harass you. If you're still not subscribed. No, I'm joking. Like the video, share it, subscribe, like the video, do all the good stuff. I love you all very much. We'll see you all.
Yeah, just eating my wrap.
Okay, guys, so the UK is not in a good state right now. You know, it seems like every single first world country around the world has the exact same issues. Every single one, you know. And now I've learned to appreciate. I mean, a couple years back, you know, I was like, I was one of those people.
This is
like,
the way it was signed. It's the lighting.
No, I love it here, bro. I love London even more. I love the UK. Like, I love my city, bro. Like, I'm never. One day I'll tell you I'm never leaving my city. The other day I'll tell you I can't wait to leave my city, you know. But at the end of the day, it will always be home to me. And I've got a brethren, my brethren I've known for 15 years. You know, we've been catching up recently. We've been talking a little bit more. He's just, I mean, he's just been on the job hunt, and it's really dark, and he's been trying for a while, and it's just not good. You know, we've got a whole load of people who've been lied to about their degrees meaning something, and left with nothing. You know, Gen Z, the generation I am, like, bro, it's really bad. It's really, things are hopeless. Unless you're really good at something exceptional or stuff, it's not good. It's really not good. It's not fair on us. You know, you've got everybody working full time and still living hand to mouth. How on earth does that make sense? It's like there's no opportunities to really enjoy life, bro. You understand? The price of things doesn't make any sense. None of it makes sense. Yet GDP goes up every single year. That should show you guys GDP. It's just the rich getting richer, bro. That is all it is. And how do you judge the rich getting richer? I judge it on things that used to be free, things that we used to have all the time, actual day-to-day quality of life, parks closing, libraries closing, potholes that are older than me, you know? These are things that shouldn't be happening, but, you know, the price of everything seems to be going up. You have less and less money to less and less disposable income, while everything else is getting worse. Taxes are increasing. None of this makes sense. The country is so broken that it's hard to even really see a way out of this. You know, my number one way out for me, if I had absolute power, because forget getting into government, because you're gonna upset people. If I was a dictator of the UK and I had absolute power of the UK, first thing I'm saying is, okay, birth rates. Birth rates, we are below replacement. Rule number one,
Teddy.
Step number one, we need people, we need people to have kids. We need people here in this country to start having children. How would I do that? Now, I wouldn't give women more money, because that doesn't work. Clearly that's not
Sit down.
What I would do, my first
Gentle.
instruction would be, okay,
Gentle.
to encourage marriage again. We need the foundation of society again. Foundation, marriage. It's no coincidence society's collapsed right now, and marriage for people in my generation is a joke. You know, if you say you're getting married, it's like, are you joking? Like, why would you get married in this generation?
No, I don't.
You know, even though it makes the most sense because they're together. But my first thing before we react to this documentary, guys, would be to encourage people to get married and say, married couples with kids. For every child you have, first of all, make mortgages more affordable. Duh. Married couples with kids.
No, I don't.
For every child you have, you get 15% taken off your mortgage, completely wiped off, bro. And on top of that, your kid gets free school meals, your kid gets free. Make raising the child as easy as possible, and make it, basically, right now, there's a lot, people are taking advantage of government assistance in this country. It's really bad. You see everyone with a disabled badge, everyone on PIP with a PIP card, mobility scheme. It is absolutely out of control. Instead of directing that there, direct it to people who want to build the foundation of society again. You know what I mean? Let people be in a position to where the wife don't need to work. That's what it would do. It would encourage, because a lot of people who are married, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain if your wife don't have to work, she's not going to work. You know, she's not going to work if she doesn't have to work. Breed the conditions for that. If people are going to keep on taking welfare, set that up. You know, but anyway, let's react to this video here, guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you would do. If you were the dictator of the UK, how would you get things fixed? You know, because I wouldn't care about being liked. I really wouldn't give a damn about being liked. I'd be like, guys, the population's about to go extinct. Like, I don't give a damn if you're upset or I don't care, bro. We need to buck up our ideas and start this. But this is made by an Australian news company. It's going to be interesting to see their perspective on things, because I know a few men who've moved to Australia, no pun intended, but a few men who've moved to Australia, they're all white, no surprise there, but they've all moved to Australia, and they seem to be loving it out there. You know, I don't know why. Everyone tells me I need to go to Australia. My uncle loves going to Australia. He goes there like every year. I don't know. Everyone keeps telling me that. Maybe I should.
You could not save a penny, even if you save it something comes up, or you find every week your shopping's getting dearer. You live in Antonas, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, the price of things are insane now, guys. Like, just anything, just everything. I'll look at the price. For example, okay, I was out with my sister yesterday, right? And cool. I wanted Shake Shack, but she was like, I'll go to McDonald's, and she'll get McDonald's instead and come back because she felt like McDonald's, bro. And, bro, the price difference, we got near enough the same items, you know what I mean? And She paid £12 in McDonald's. I paid £16 in Shake Shack. Why on earth would I go to McDonald's when it's for £4 more? I get better quality, better, more premium product. I don't know. Like, the price of things just doesn't make sense anymore. Nothing makes sense. It's like, wow, petrol being £1.60 a litre, that's normal now. But unleaded, that's normal. That's the new norm now. Like, what? When was this the norm? What? It's just because of the Strait of Hormuz? But BP's making record profits? None of this makes sense.
For almost 14 million people, this is the harsh reality of life in the United Kingdom. It's
the uncollected bins for the council tax going up. We can all relate to that.
a country where the poor are getting poorer.
We are, what, the 6th richest country in the world, and we...
That is complete bullshit. No, we are, but let me tell you this, okay? A lot of these councils are bankrupt. I did a video on it. A lot of these councils are bankrupt because they're repaying interest on bad loans. Like, they took out loans to do projects. The projects obviously flopped because money was just being siphoned off. And they're paying these things back, what they call, not LIBOR loans. Were they? I don't think it's LIBOR, I think it's something else. But there's certain loans that banks, I think Barclays was the biggest one, that were giving to councils. And the terms are just terrible. The terms are pretty much, Barclays can up the interest rate to whatever rate they want. And that's leading to councils having to cut services and increase council tax because they're busy paying off these loans that they have to pay off for projects that are non-existent, that failed, bad investments. There was one council that invested like £500 million into a solar farm. And every year, it doesn't even cost them £500 million to run the council. That's like 3-4 times their annual budget that they've invested, they've taken out a loan on to start projects. You see the issue here? That's why.
What, parents skipping meals so that can ensure that children get fed?
Like, why is that happening? Why are parents skipping meals when supermarkets throw food out? It doesn't make sense. Why is Greggs, everybody loves Greggs. Why is Greggs now having to downsize and be inside petrol stations when there's so much unused retail space?
And the divisive populist movement promising to pull old Blighty out of its rut is rapidly gaining momentum.
This government is deep in crisis.
People have lost patience with the political establishment in this country. They want.
Do we really think Reform UK is going to win? Do we really? I think what is local election coming up? I think I'm in May. I don't know. Let me say the date coming up before my vacation. Yeah, I've got my VP now. Yeah, local election. I'm voting. You know what I'm voting for, guys? You guys want to know what I'm voting for? I'm voting for Ian or Elaine. I think I'm going to vote for Elaine. If you know, you know. Right? I'm voting for Elaine.
It's something different.
The leadership in Downing Street has to change.
I will never walk away from a mandate I was given to change this country.
We travelled to England's north to investigate whether Britain is broken and if it can be fixed.
Like, why are these buildings empty?
Hull, a working-class coastal city in England's northeast. About half of the 200,000 residents here live in state housing, including Kirsty Murray. She's lived in this small terrace for almost a decade with her teenage son, who has a disability.
You know what it is? About a year and a half ago, I made a video where it was, I forgot what area they were in. It's like, as someone from London, like, people get onto me. People are saying like, oh, what do you mean you've not seen poor white people in the UK before? And it's like, oh, there's this guy. It's like, yeah, from the ends where I grew up, like, yeah, you've got a couple of white guys. Yeah, okay, you do. You have some, but, and in certain areas, different parts of London, you do. But where I grew up, bro, the only white people I would see growing up in northwest London, Harlesden, was middle-class white people, bro. You know what I mean? I didn't really growing up, so it was a new thing to me when I turned like 18, around that age. You know what I mean? It was not that long ago. When I turned 18, that's when I started realizing, like, oh, you know, there's, you know what I mean? So yeah, it took me a few years to see that part of life, you know.
The past 2 years, it's been hell because obviously we had COVID.
Like, even the primary school I went to, bro, all of my white friends, like, their parents, like, were upper middle class. You know what I mean? They're still in the same yards today. Like, they were upper middle class. You know, that's what I grew up really around.
And then you could get a lot of things. And then on top of that, it's not cost of living. Like, I can't go to like a food bank and rely on clothes from them because he's on a restricted diet.
And then we need to remember as well, you know, in the UK, the history of the UK, bro, people who've been working class, us, most of us watching working class, yeah, I mean, these are the best conditions in history that the working class British have had, you know, if you look at history.
So you've got to
if this was back in the day, what? I mean, I wouldn't be here, first of all. I'd be under colonial rule. But it wouldn't be you colonial rule, by the way. I mean, you'd be probably in a chimney at 5 years old. You get what I'm saying?
Sometimes where you're worried that you won't be able to afford food doing this on.
There's been times when I've gone out just to make sure that he's been alright, because he's my priority, as long as he's fed on the others.
The bitterly cold English winters are particularly hard.
Generally,
how expensive heating is, everything going up non-stop. The bills never come down, they always go up.
The rule, I can put the heating on, because we've got blankets if it gets that cold and cook down, or we'll just literally sit in our bed too much time.
This area is considered the sixth poorest in the United Kingdom.
Wow.
And the residents can come here and take 4 different items once a week to a pound.
Jan Boyd has run this local food bank for almost a decade and says she's never seen things this bad.
Probably over 50% of children in the area are living below the poverty line. So if you're below the poverty line, you're not going to be able to heat your houses, and then you've got ongoing health issues as a result of living in cold homes.
And
we as an organisation should make
I know you guys have heard this how many times, but you know what? Screw it. Let's give money for this war and that war. You know, let's let America use their military bases to go and do spy missions. Instead of this, it just shows you where the priorities are at, you know?
An organisation shouldn't exist. We should not need to be here, and our partners around the city shouldn't need to be here, because people should be able to heat their homes and feed their children.
The latest census revealed 21% of people across the UK are living in poverty. Without London, the UK's GDP would be lower than that of the US's poorest state.
That's what people always keep saying.
Mississippi.
That's what people say, oh, look, if you compare GDP in London, the UK would be lower than America's poorest state, bro. But yeah, you live a much better quality of life in London than you do in frickin' Mississippi. Mississippi, bro. Mississippi. Have you seen Mississippi, bro? Can you even say it? Mississippi. Come on, bro. In London, one thing that you can appreciate in London is it's much easier to have a work-life balance here. You know, if you're in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi, bro, what job you getting in London, bro? If you really need to hustle quickly, you know, you can go snatch some phones. Go snatch some phones, or be the good guy and then do some Uber ride deliveries. You know what I mean? And then you can chill by the River Thames. You can go from Steep West. You can walk along the River Thames. You know, like there's so many things you can do, bro. But compared to Mississippi, there's no infrastructure. You know, and I think that's just part of the London tax what you're paying for. The infrastructure. The fact that right now, me being in I can go anywhere. There's good infrastructure. There's pavements everywhere. You know, there's shops everywhere. You know, there's cameras everywhere. You're paying for that. You know.
We used to constantly tell audiences about how
Stuart McAnella is a politics professor at the University of Leeds.
So there was a feeling that in the 1980s, a lot of the economic steps that were taken then, which a lot of people felt privileged the interests of finance of the centre of London, tax cuts that tend to favour the already affluent, and meantime underinvestment in parts of the north.
How much was John down? To start
In
on
the
the side.
1970s, the UK's meant
Yeah, it's more than two.
Look back at this,
Don't they?
bro. My man probably had
It's a 750
enough
battery.
Target then and
you know,
do
doing this job.
them, isn't it? That's
Doing
a
5 days a
bit.
week. You probably had enough money to support 2 families, bro. His main wife, the main one didn't know about, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, boy, both of them will be calling you while you're at work, and you've got to FaceTime them while you're doing this.
In the 1970s, the UK's manufacturing made up 30% of the country's GDP.
That is insane. That is, what's that
Look
now?
at the cider.
But throughout the 80s, under Prime Minister
Yeah, do you
Margaret
know it?
Margaret Thatcher, this terrorist. I
You
think she's
know
a
it's
terrorist, bro. She's a domestic. I think it's time to start
Just take,
calling
you
Margaret
take this off
Thatcher
so you can see
a
where you are
domestic
on the bottle.
terrorist, bro. I think it's time. And also, I don't have. I have the stain I have for this woman is because I'm Grenadian, obviously,
Yeah,
and she did fuck all when America invaded us and killed Morris Bishop. She did nothing, bro. She just stood there with her tail between her. There was no tail. Just stood there and did nothing, bro. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? This woman. What, like bro, what have you done? What have you done? Like, steel was 30% of British GDP. Where's the steel? Where's the steel, man? Where's the production that doesn't produce anything anymore? She wanted to transition into a services economy. A services economy. Finance, everybody getting degrees, yeah. The problem is, you need, you've got the services, but you ain't got the production. So what are they servicing? They're servicing nothing.
Actually, much of that industry moved offshore.
Yeah, she literally, oh bro.
Today, it's just 8% of the UK's economy.
Insane.
There are other factors that have contributed to Britain's standard of living decline and the increase in poverty. UK productivity growth has slowed significantly since the 2008 market.
Yeah, productivity because you tried to transition, you wanted to transition to services, and you know, we've got so much space, you've got abandoned buildings, but you've got people living in house shares. That is a problem. And the reason why this building has to stay like that is because of planning permission. Oh, you have to go get planning permission. Even my neighbours on my road, fam, they got some work done. It took them so long to get the planning permission, you know, because they're like, come and ask you, you have the right to object. Like, if I wanted to be a wanker, I could just block them from doing their house up. Why? You know, that's just all these outdated things, you know, they just slow things down. Business rates, things such as business rates, all these taxes, you know, because the UK needs money to pay its interest now.
Drink the cider first, at the bottle.
Thinking, yo,
Save these for tomorrow.
tax there, not take tax here,
Because
not
they're
take
so
tax
strong,
here.
and by the time
And
you
that
drink
will
it, you'll fall
incentivize.
asleep. You're ready
The
for
UK
sleep.
is one of the only countries, okay? I think I saw somewhere that said, yo, if you make
You just drink the
99,000
bottle. You drink the bottle of cider. Because you can't refill it.
you're going to be like 27 grand
What?
because you're not going to get the same child benefits or something like that.
Well, so will this.
It's
Still cider.
Going from around 2% annually
You don't listen to me, though, do you?
0% on average.
And this is
You want to fall asleep,
one
then
thing
fine.
that economists
Because you will.
obsessed with.
You don't
is
listen to me.
grow. We have to grow. No, we don't. Why can't things be good and we just keep it that way? Oh no. Oh, productivity went down by 0.1%. Who cares? Who cares? It's still a profitable business. All the employees are happy. It's this
Yeah,
obsession
that's
with growth that has killed everything.
No, literally. You know what you were like last time when you fucking paid your Western. These are fucking stronger than that.
You know what I'm saying? If you've got
It's not funny. That's why I said start from the bottom of cider. Because you can fucking reseal it. And you get 4.5 bottles out, 5 pints out of that.
that makes 2 million a year.
And it's 4 fucking 5%.
Profit,
5%.
You know, and it just makes
You'll
2
go
million a
further
year
and you'll be
profit.
able to fucking
The
stay
employees
awake
are
on the
happy,
stuff.
Everything's happy. Why do you have to then get
If
the
you want us to fall
company and say,
asleep, then
okay,
fine.
2 million a year is not enough.
Be
I
like
want 5 million a year. So,
tired,
half your employees are fired. That's XYZ. This
Doesn't
now
mean you need
AI.
to drink it
Mix
now.
AI with it. Okay.
I would save it
milk the
for
company
tomorrow
for
because it's
much
going to be
as
fucking
you
hot as fuck
can. Oh
tomorrow.
no, the company's losing money because the product is shit now, or an AI is just doing whatever.
Like you-
Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to sell the parts of the company.
Okay.
Sell the parts of it. And that's what private equity is doing to these companies, bro. And it's just...
Teddy!
Like, that's what they've done to Argos.
Stop.
Sainsbury's kind of tired of Argos. I made a video on that yesterday. Go and look at it. But why did you need to fuck it up? Like, it was fine. It's greed that's doing that because it's fine. What do you mean? Why do you need to do that?
Especially after you've been drinking the 40%.
Like, it's greed. Myself,
So especially
maybe I
after you've been
don't know
drinking the
if I'm
30 and 40% stuff. That'll go
a
straight to your
company
head.
with 500 employees that's making me £300,000 a year. All the employees are happy. I'm able to pay the employees a good wage. Why am I changing anything? Why am I? But then you could argue. Then I see the rebuttal there. It's like, oh, but there's no innovation. Then you don't innovate. Or maybe competition's going to come in there and wipe you out. That's a good point as well. It's about finding a balance though, because right now it's just extreme. It's always growth. You know, we don't always need growth.
Councils and public services. Real wages have gone backwards, and that's combined with skyrocketing inflation.
How the frick does that make sense? Real wages have gone backwards. How have they gone down?
Real wages have gone backwards, and that's combined with skyrocketing inflation post-COVID and Brexit.
I think we're looking at the sort of economic impacts of deindustrialisation in parts of the north of England. People feeling that they're losing out.
Here in London, the seat of power, the government is promising to increase the minimum wage.
I would buy British steel, bro. Like, if there was a whole revolution here where it's like, yo, we're gonna open production again, bro, I'll buy British everything. I don't care. I will. Like, I will.
Build more homes and invest in infrastructure to create more high-paying jobs.
And then I made a video about what they've done with HS2 up north, how they've cut it off, they've just called it off completely. How fucking stupid is that? That's the whole point, to connect the north to London more. Yeah. Now it's just shaves 20 to 30 minutes off of your journey to Birmingham. Why am I going to go to Birmingham by train and stay there? Come on.
Its conservative opponents are pledging to reduce taxes and end stamp duty. There is also a focus in that building on reducing the level of migration, with the claim it'll ease pressure on infrastructure as well as housing. But you speak to political analysts, economists, and they'll tell you that the problems in this country are deep-seated, and for any politician to fix them, they'll need a lot of time, but perhaps most importantly, patience from their colleagues, other politicians, and the public.
What you're saying there is things need to get a lot worse before they get better. And right now, things are bad, but we ain't seen nothing yet. Because nobody wants to be the one that has to take us through the greatest depression that we've seen in recent history, which is going to happen soon. That is what we're on track with. Nobody wants to be leading while we're going through that great depression. Why do you think they're increasing surveillance, AI technology, AI policing? Because they know that that is inevitable. It is inevitable. And there are some people who say that the AI bubble bursting will trigger that. Could do. It probably will, because AI is bullshit. It's not autonomous. I made a video explaining that as well. We've spoken about all of these things, but yeah, it will take the country coming together.
Yeah, British citizens.
And this is not the man to do it. This man is a career politician. You don't want a career politician. You want somebody in who's not there to be liked. The interest of the people only,
but there is a mistake.
I have his own interest of heart.
And promising a speedy fix, populist Nigel Farage believes the reform package. Recent polling shows that the Labour government's support has collapsed, and if an election was held in the UK tomorrow, Nigel Farage could become Prime Minister.
He's not winning, by the way. The way the media covered him, and this guy went from number one villain to now, Nigel getting the most airtime. Like, come on, man.
In recent months, he's been recruiting MPs of the opposition Conservative Party, including former Shadow Foreign Minister Andrew Rosendale.
Remember what? Here's the thing. That guy Rupert Lowe, he's extreme. He is quite extreme. But that shows you that, like, what you need is extreme. You know, this Zach Polanski plant guy, yeah? He's quite extreme. I don't even like talking about these actors, because none of them really makes a difference anyway. But this Zach guy, if you were it to implement him then, he's quite extreme. You know what I mean? That's good. You need something extreme. This Rupert Lowe guy, he's quite extreme, but extreme is where things will happen. You might be thinking Zach, but they know he's not going to win, bro. Oh, this Zach guy, he's left this, woke. Bro, at least things will be happening. You pick Rupert Lowe. Yeah, he's a madman, bro. You know what I mean? Things will happen. Pick Nigel Farage, not going to happen, bro. All he's going to do is get rid of the NHS, bro. And I'll fight for that, because God bless the NHS. And M&S
been let down by both Conservative and Labour governments for so many years. We need a change, we need reform of our country.
Nigel Farage was obviously one of the most high-profile advocates for Brexit. Some people would say that the UK no longer being in Europe is part of what's driving up inflation.
The opposite is true. So what's happened is that since we've left the European Union, we're in control of our own laws again. When we're in the EU, we had to do what we were told by Brussels.
Yeah.
Disaster. The
now
idea
we're our own
that
country.
the cause of our problems is absolutely wrong.
Okay.
Reform's message seems to be cutting through.
Such a simple, dodgy answer, but not taking a look at everything else. Like, bro, that needs its own.
In the UK's most deprived areas.
What I know is when I speak to my family, like, I remember I was having a political discussion with family the other day, and I was talking, and I asked all the family members, because obviously when Brexit happened, I wasn't old enough to vote, and they were like, "Oh, Brexit was a mistake," and all of them voted for Brexit, and I asked them, like, why? Like, what was the psyche to make you think that's a good idea? And they said, "Oh, they just wanted," like, they believe the bullshit pretty much, bro.
Including Hull.
Like transport, will be the.
Oh, I went to Hull. I went to Hull for like 3 days. Got a cheap Airbnb. That was alright. It was alright still. It was alright, man. It was alright.
Once a traditional Labour heartland, the city recently elected a Reform Party mayor, former Olympic gold medal boxer Luke Campbell.
And how has he won now? There's going to be some people watching and probably thinking, see these racists that do this to divide. Brother, this is what they're targeting, man. This is why Reform might actually win across the country, because they are targeting people who have felt unheard for generations. They felt unheard for generations. And this is a glimmer of hope. Like, oh, he cares about this, cares about that, this, that. When it's like, it's just bullshit.
I personally think that people were fed up with politicians and they wanted something different. I've got a sporting background, I've got no experience in politics, and I was always very clear about that.
Because that doesn't rain on it, because it doesn't feel like
That's the right man you want. That's what you want. Someone, because I don't believe this lie. Someone telling me, oh, you have to be qualified to be a politician. I don't think you have to be qualified to be a politician. Who qualifies you? You know how you get qualified to be a politician? By the people electing you, and you doing what the people want. You ain't fucking qualified, bro.
Why did you decide to run as a Reform candidate?
I just thought it, as it was, it just wasn't currently working, and I think we needed something different, and that was my choice.
Across town, Kirsty Murray is doubtful any politician can make material change.
He's right.
Until you've lived it, you don't know. It's alright making these promises.
It's too far gone, bro. Let me tell you the best way to save Hull. You wanna know how to save Hull? Okay? You've got the mayor in already, okay? This is a banter, this is all jokes, by the way. Okay? You make sure you find mates in the police, the local police. You get someone who supports your cause as the head of police. Head of ambulance out there. Head of everything is secretly a part of your movement. Then you've got control there. You've got access to guns. You've got access to, you've got control. Now, when they least expect it, you break away. You break away. You break away from the UK. You break away. You say, we're running our own economy. And oh my God, if history showed you one thing, Hull will instantly become the best place ever. Like, once you break away from what's a disaster, start doing things yourself, crops, all that, oh, Hull will become paradise, bro. Your GDP will be bigger, total GDP will be bigger than the UK. And, yeah, that's how you'll improve things in the short term. I mean, in the long term, hey, they're just joking, but I'm joking.
They're empty promises.
Some people have told us that they feel like Britain is broken.
Yes. It is broken and it's not going to get back.
Would you live somewhere else if you could?
I would want to. I would just live half of Humber because it's the bottom of that.
Any pensioners watching, you'd be surprised. You know, if you've got your private pension coming in, and you've got your state pension, because the state pension is following, so you've got your private pension coming in. Make some smart decisions, bro. I mean, even the countries where, you know, because Thailand used to be cheap back in the day, but even all the countries where you could go and live below me, they're disappearing now, you know? Like, everywhere in the world. Ukraine apparently used to be good, but obviously what do they do? What's happening there? I heard Ukraine used to be good. I'm talking a place where you can live comfortably, nicely for like less than £1,000 a month. That doesn't really exist anywhere in the world anymore, because we'd all flock there. Does that place still exist? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like.
It's becoming more and more expensive.
If you've ever been in the market for gold, you might have come across this ad featuring Nigel Farage.
Now behind me is the Bank of England. That's where our national gold reserves are held. But hey, you can hold gold too.
Until pretty recently, the British MP was making these pretty generic ads for a gold bullion company promoting the benefits of investing in gold.
The government takes more of your money. Gold is how you protect yourself.
Now if you've ever been in the market for gold, you might have come across this ad featuring Nigel Farage.
Now, behind me is the Bank of England. That's where our national gold reserves are held. But hey, you can hold gold too.
Until pretty recently, the British MP was making these pretty generic ads for a gold bullion company promoting the benefits of investing in gold.
The government takes more of your money. Gold is how you protect yourself.
Now, vague statements like that one are hard to interrogate, but the numbers behind the statements aren't. Which is why I'm particularly interested in one ad that Farage did, where he included a few charts.
Are you worried about the value of your money and its purchasing power? Well, you should be. Because over the last 20 years, every pound now buys half of what it did.
Okay, pause it right there. That chart is showing the decreasing value of £1 from 2004 to 2024, and it's accurate enough. The nature of inflation is that if you bury a pound in your backyard for 20 years, it will not be able to buy as much stuff when you dig it up as it could when you buried it, as Farage correctly identifies here.
Inflation is constantly eating away at your money.
But the reason this ad is so interesting to me is because he then goes on to show a second chart.
Now, I spent 20 years in the metals business before getting involved in politics. And one commodity I always liked is gold. And over the last 20 years, whilst your money in the bank has been depreciating, the price of gold has been incredible. It's produced amazing returns over 20 years.
Okay, pause it there. Now, while the previous chart showed a line going down, this one pretty clearly shows a line going up. That's good, right? Gold must be a great investment. When you put these charts together, what they show is actually extremely misleading. He's saying that inflation means your money is worth less. But also, look, gold is worth much more money than it was before. Do you think that inflation might have something to do with that, Nigel? Let's pull Nigel's data
Obviously.
from one of our own charts. What it shows is the nominal gold price. How much is gold worth at any one time in pounds? But, as he says, pounds become less valuable over time. So if you apply inflation to the equation, the picture is much less rosy. Farage must know this. After all, he
spent 20 years in the metals business.
Now, I'm not here to say that Farage is wrong and that gold is a terrible investment. Between 2004 and 2011, gold was genuinely a good investment. As the global financial crisis drove people out of stock, and that gold is a terrible investment. Between 2004 and 2011, gold was genuinely a good investment.
So it was 2021.
As the global financial crisis drove people out of stocks and into more stable investments like gold. Then its value went.
I couldn't afford it at age.
Stocks tend to recover quickly. So a guy who put the same amount of money into stocks in 2004 would overtake your gold investment at around 2018. Here's the thing about gold. When you look at the market, you'll see it really only performs well during crises. World wars, the global financial crisis. Otherwise, stocks, bonds, or property are generally a better investment. Which means if you want people to buy gold, you really have to convince them that a catastrophe is imminent. And so,
Get it out before it goes. Get it out before it goes fucking horrible again. You return to wash it.
The global situation is perilous. My lifetime, we've got a war going on in Ukraine, a war going on in
So you just have to struggle to wash it, which we don't really want to do.
on Taiwan.
No.
Might be. So these are deeply worrying, very, very unstable times.
Now, admittedly, this scheme has paid dividends for at least one person, Nigel Farage. Since the start of 2024, he's been paid about £700,000 to do these ads for Direct Bullion London. And his hustles aren't limited to selling gold. He's also been given millions of pounds by cryptocurrency guys. It's one of the reasons he was forced to resign his seat in Parliament and hold a by-election. He wants a mandate from the public to ignore questions about all that money he was getting. There's a pattern here, and it runs through some of the strangest people in British politics. A fixer who advertised money laundering on the dark web. A donor whose diamond mines didn't exist. To understand why they're all circling Nigel Farage, you have to follow the money backwards. So, let's do that together. I'm Matt Bevan, and this is If You're Listening. This whole story plays out a little bit like a Guy Ritchie movie. It's high on rapscallions and hijinks. So let's start with the crew assembly phase of the movie.
If that's not worth a bet, I don't know what is.
First, we're going to meet Farage's fixer, George Cottrell, who apparently goes by Posh George. Cue the music. Here's how Nigel Farage described Posh George in an interview with the Trigonometry podcast.
He is, of course, an enormously powerful character. You know, I mean, great press. All the with the girlfriends he's had and the things he's done, and all of it.
Posh George is from an aristocratic family. His uncle is a lord who owned a Formula One team.
It's his uncle, a Formula One, mum dated the man that's now the king.
Oh yes, and his mother Fiona is an ex-girlfriend of King Charles.
So of course there are great reasons why he's a person of interest.
He was introduced to Farage by his uncle, Lord Hesketh, sometime around 2013 or 14, when he was just 20 years old, and Farage's star was on the rise.
Nigel Farage is calling it a political earthquake. His United Kingdom Independence Party, or UKIP, won 27% of the vote, more than Labour or the Conservatives.
The People's Army and UKIP have spoken tonight and delivered just about the most extraordinary result that has been seen in British politics for 100 years.
Initially, Posh George was a volunteer fundraiser, but he was also doing a bit of fundraising for himself on the side. He'd started advertising a service he could provide on the dark web. The service was money laundering. In March 2014, he was contacted by a potential client. He flew to the US the following month to meet up. Initially, George was hesitant to travel to the US for the purposes of doing crime, but his contacts had suggested meeting up in Las Vegas, and as a gambling addict, he couldn't resist. In Vegas, he met up with two businessmen, and they went to dinner at a Michelin-starred restaurant. At the restaurant, the men told him that they make $2.5 million a year trafficking cocaine from Phoenix to New York. Then, Posh George returned to London. What happened next is a bit murky. There's some conflicting accounts, which I'll get to in just a second. But back in the UK, he started rapidly getting closer and closer to Farage.
Time and again during the referendum contest, he was Nigel Farage's right-hand man, passing him the mic, telling him what next.
He was with Farage all the way through the Brexit referendum.
This will be a victory for real people, a victory for ordinary people, a victory for decent people.
After the referendum, Farage announced he was intending to travel to the United States to campaign for Donald Trump.
You're going to be going to the Republican National Convention next week. This is going to be one heck of an election here.
Well, I think there's one big message that I'm going to bring to Cleveland next week.
Posh George, as Farage's right-hand man, went too. But on the way through Chicago Airport, George was taken aside for a bit of a chat with the authorities. They let him continue through to Cleveland for the convention. George told his colleagues that he was carrying a large amount of cigarettes on him, and that's why he was questioned. But a few days later, he was arrested.
He's been charged with conspiracy to launder drugs money and faces years in prison if found guilty.
So, those drug dealers he met in Las Vegas, it turns out they were federal agents conducting a sting operation on him.
He's now accused on 21 counts of conspiracy to commit money laundering itself, wire fraud, and even blackmail against the undercover FBI men who mounted the sting.
According to the indictment, George had continued corresponding with the agents after returning to London and eventually threatened to report them to authorities if they didn't pay him a ransom of 130 Bitcoin. At the time, that amount of Bitcoin was worth about $80,000. It would be worth about $11.5 million now. But Boss George didn't get
just
it.
gone up. That's why Bitcoin's worth
See,
way.
federal agents are tricky to blackmail with threats of reporting
If you got 500 quid, buy Bitcoin.
themselves.
Just hold it.
George ended up pleading guilty
done
to
that every
wire
month.
fraud and
500
spent
quid,
8 months doing that.
250 quid into Bitcoin, and keep holding it, keep holding
He
it.
later told the Telegraph
And 10
that
years
his
later,
time in British boarding schools prepared him
quadruple
well for a
what you
stint
put in.
in an American
Just takes
maximum
time.
security jail. But in that same interview with the Telegraph, he basically put the whole thing down to just a misunderstanding. And that's what Farage says about it too.
George, as a young man, got into trouble in America. If you are involved in tax avoidance schemes, it is very easy in America to get into very, very big trouble.
To be clear, in his plea bargain submitted under oath, Posh George says that he advertised money laundering services on the dark web and was planning to divert criminal proceeds into his own accounts and keep them, basically to rob the drug dealers. Which, I mean, it doesn't sound like tax avoidance to me, but what do I know? Alright, so Posh George is our fixer. Now we're going to meet the money man, a guy aptly named Aaron Banks.
I'm a self-made person. I make my money from a desk and 2 telephones. So I resent your kind of comment that I'm some sort of rich Tory.
Aaron Banks had previously been a big donor to the Conservative Party, but in 2014 he made a big splash when he suddenly made a £1 million donation to Farage's UKIP.
Well, so we have the fund. Yeah, we have to have money.
At the time, most people had no idea who this guy was and were sceptical about how he was able to make such a, by British standards, massive political donation.
You see, like, I'm only suggesting 30 businesses involved in diamond mining, involved in insurance, banking.
Now, it's clear that our money man had money. What wasn't clear was where exactly that money was coming from. See, when journalists at the time went poking around to try and figure out how he was able to give so much money to Nigel Farage, they found mysterious things. For example, Banks told Channel 4 that a chunk of his money was coming from South African diamond mines.
Diamond mines?
Diamond mines, yes. In Kimberley. It's the old De Beers Kimberley mine.
And you own it?
Yeah, we own 7 mines there. Not all of them, but there's quite a cluster.
What's that worth?
Quite a lot. We pulled out a 12-carat diamond last week.
But when they sent a reporter to South Africa to check out the mines for themselves, they weren't operating.
And he has said that the diamond industry is the most fun he's ever had in business. It is admittedly after office hours, but if there is fun to be had here, it isn't obvious how.
The BBC, meanwhile, had a look at his Gibraltar-based auto insurance business and found that it pays out almost 3 times as much in claim settlements as it takes in as a premium.
For Southern Rock, they pay out £2.86 for every £1 of income that they generate.
So for every pound they get in, they're paying £2.86 out. The Guardian found that his other insurance businesses were also barely breaking even. Between 2014 and 2016, Banks gave Farage £450,000 in personal gifts and became the biggest political donor in British history, dumping a total of £8 million into UKIP and the campaign to leave the EU in the Brexit referendum. Subsequent reporting by Bloomberg News calculated that Banks's donations were equivalent to about a quarter of his known assets. So he gave away a quarter of his money in political donations, apparently. Given the confusing nature of his business interests and the fact that he'd taken several meetings during the Brexit campaign with various Russians, rumours started flying.
For months, there has been speculation that Mr. Banks was being funded from sources in Russia.
A criminal investigation began.
The UK's top organised crime agency is investigating the true origins of Aaron Banks' huge political donations.
But it was clear of his wrongdoing. Bloomberg found that it was more likely that the donations had been funded by lending money from his own insurance companies, which apparently is totally legal. Banks then launched a big defamation case, which essentially stopped any more journos from poking around. including us. No more poking, we promise. So that's Nigel Farage's Brexit era in a circle. A money man whose fortune nobody could quite explain, and a fixer who ended up in the custody of the US Federal Bureau of Prisons. Despite all the investigations and jail time, both Arron Banks and Posh George are still in the picture, still in Farage's inner circle. Banks is now a key figure in Farage's current party, Reform UK, and stood as a candidate for the party in the mayoral election last year. Meanwhile, Posh George reportedly has spent significant sums of money paying for Farage's private security detail and considers him a father figure. Speaking to the Trigonometry podcast, Farage has sought to downplay the importance of his friend's criminal past.
So he has a conviction. Maybe that conviction will be pardoned one. I don't know. I stood loyally with George because I think he deserves second chance.
And what has Posh George been doing with his second chance? Well, he's been living in Montenegro, writing a book called How to Launder Money and getting into cryptocurrency. Back in 2020, he and Farage had lunch with crypto billionaire Christopher Harborn, who is the part owner of the cryptocurrency Tether. Days later, Posh George was part of the team launching a new gambling platform using Harborn's cryptocurrency.
Introducing TetherBet, the world's most exclusive sportsbook, providing the highest limits, anytime, anywhere, on every sport.
Harborn subsequently became Farage's new biggest financial backer, donating £25 million to Reform UK over the last 7 years, and providing Farage with a £5 million personal gift in 2024, which is perhaps why Farage is now not only spruiking the benefits of investing in gold, but cryptocurrency too.
I was advocating in 2020 that people should have crypto and Bitcoin as part of their portfolio. Bring crypto and digital assets in from the cold.
Farage has even been specifically talking up the company belonging to his biggest donor.
Tether is about to be valued as a $500 billion company. You know, stable coins, crypto, this world is enormous. And I've been urging for years that London should embrace it.
There's something odd going on. Cryptocurrency, online gambling, that thing with the direct bullion London gold company. All of these things have been circling Farage for years now. They're circling Donald Trump as well. A few weeks ago we did an episode about how various crypto bros, pickup artists and right-wing podcasters have been helping the Trump family get rich through cryptocurrency. In fact, the entire anti-establishment right-wing political ecosphere is getting into both gold and crypto in a big way.
Well, I've become a big crypto guy.
We're about to place our Bitcoin order. As you can see, gold is the top performing asset year over year.
Gold can be a safe haven in hard economic times.
You can open up, any cryptocurrency app and you can send money wallet to wallet instantaneously.
Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with ownership of physical gold bars.
The thing is, gold and crypto are kind of polar opposites to each other.
Yeah.
Gold is considered a very stable, boring, safe thing to invest in, whereas crypto is obviously incredibly volatile.
They sold that meme coin, which netted a huge amount of money for them, but left about 1 million investors, I think about $3 billion in the hole.
But the overlap is that both of them are attractive to people who think the traditional established financial and political system is on the verge of collapsing. They don't trust the government, they don't trust the banks, and they don't trust the global elite.
From personal experience, I don't particularly trust the banks.
I think a lot of the people that are elites aren't elite. I think the people that aren't elite are elite, so we're gonna have to maybe switch that around somehow.
The thing is, if you draw a Venn diagram with one circle being guys who don't trust the banks or the government, another being guys who might want to put their savings into gold or crypto, and guys who would like to vote for Nigel Farage or Donald Trump, you basically have a single large circle. Trump and Farage are two of the most influential people in the Western world, and they're using that influence to promote the idea The Western world is falling apart, and you need to put your money in non-traditional assets, crypto and gold. A lot of journalists, citizens and regulators are spending a lot of time trying to find reasons why any of this is breaching any kind of rules. Now, it seems that it's all above board. But I'm not all that interested in the rules of the situation. What I'm interested in is simple. We are used to politicians being funded by establishment companies, finance, mining, manufacturing, defence. But clearly that has all changed. We now have some of the most powerful politicians on earth whose careers are funded by very strange people who profit from instability, who profit from fear. And that is, I mean, it's definitely different.
Covering Darkness YouTube channels.
This will be over $1 million someday. You heard me say it. I'll say it 100 times over. This should have gone. Like, I'm ecstatic.
Hello, you absolute legends. Over 5 years ago, back in August 2021, I released a video titled Exposing Fraud and Deception in the Retro Video Game Market. This was right at the very peak of the speculative bubble that had formed around sealed video games. The reason I even started looking into the sealed video game market was because I had seen news that a Super Mario 64 had sold for $1.5 million. This made absolutely no sense to me.
As recently as 2016, Foot Locker was worth $9 billion. They had 3,200 stores, and people would wait in line for hours for every Jordan shoe drop. Today, less than a decade later, the malls that Foot Locker once lived in are dying. They've announced the closure of over 400 stores, and the whole company sold for about 30% of what it was valued at the peak. The easy and simple explanation for all this is that malls are dying and took Foot Locker with it. It turns out the story's a lot more complicated. This video, here on a beautiful Sunday, is the rise.
Oh, this week!
Victoria, Southern Australia. Linda Matthews is watching her husband, Brad, lose control. Fear rises up from the pit of her stomach. She's never seen him like this before, but Brad is hooked on a strong opioid painkiller called tapentadol. Marco lives in Berlin, Germany. He's 23 years old. Victoria, Southern Australia. He's 23 years old. A few years ago, he bought a special printer that lets him create a very specific type of document. Prescriptions for a drug called tramadol. Today, he's taking one to a pharmacy for the last time. In Zico's hometown of Lomé, Togo, tramadol is known as the poor man's cocaine. He pops one and hops in his moto taxi to start his shift. An invisible thread runs through these people's stories. It leads back to an industrial town in Germany near the Dutch
It needs to be on
border,
tramadol.
Stolberg. One of the world's leading painkiller manufacturers is based here. It's called Grünenthal. And the global pharma giant has a controversial past. One of Grünenthal's key products is the opioid tramadol. Some experts warn that it's too loosely regulated, that it seems to be acting as a gateway drug. Meanwhile, in European countries like Germany, concern is growing over young people misusing prescription meds. Some experts see signs of an emerging opioid crisis. In parts of Africa, tramadol has already fueled a crisis of its own. And a little over a decade ago, Grünenthal started pushing a new and even stronger opioid onto the global market, tapentadol. Doctors have allegedly been actively encouraged to prescribe it. Potential risks may have been downplayed, and regulatory oversight may have fallen short. Some have compared Grünenthal's methods to those of an American pharmaceutical company, Purdue Pharma, and their opioid
Oxycontin.
Are we looking at a new opioid crisis? One made in Germany?
Together, we strive to make it possible.
Tramadol is highly abused in many African countries.
A world free of pain.
Nous tous sommes comme ça.